Hey guys, Coach Bricks here. I hope you are fantastic. I want to talk about these injuries, okay? Why one injury leads to another if not taken care of properly. And the majority of injuries that I see from people who contact me, saying my knee hurts or this hurts, tend to come from something else. Okay. And I've always said where your pain is usually a problem's not. That is probably true in most cases. All right, but we're not treating the injuries correctly. Okay, even if you go through surgery and rehab and stuff, you're still not getting back to where you need to be. Even though you might be able to go and play a game, if you're an adult, you get back to normal activities. It doesn't mean your body is fixed. And why? Because what happens is when your body gets hurt, it creates almost like a roadblock. It's called adhesions. Okay, so you get this roadblock. All right, so here, the roadblock's sitting here. Okay, I have to send signals from my brain. Okay, to let me know to fire certain things at certain times. Everything has to go in sequence, and that usually moves to the fascia. We all call nerves, but I think it's more fascia related than anything. So up here's your brain. It fires the signals down for your leg to kick. Your leg kicks. Boom, everything looks great, right? But if there's a roadblock here, it can't send that down right. So it has to go around it, has to figure a different way through it. And I think that is what's going on with a lot of people when it comes to injuries is they're not understanding that when they get hurt, something happens to the human body. Okay. So then you have to compensate with the other leg or the other body. So let me give an example. I get a lot of people who come through with ankle injuries. All right. That's the most common injury out there amongst everybody, not just athletes. I think it's athletes, but amongst everybody, right? A rolled ankle, whatever. What happens to the ankle when it starts to heal? Okay. It becomes stiff then because a lot of people go the route of a doctor, and the doctor's number one thing is let's throw a boot on a person. Okay. Boots are absolutely the worst thing you can possibly do because automatically it turns your foot out at a 45-degree angle automatically. And then you're locked in a position where it can't move. Okay. So then when it gets locked in that position, you get out. Okay. You might do some rehab, but maybe not. Depends on what the doctor prescribes. And he might say, hey, you can walk, you can run. Great, go back and do whatever you want. It doesn't mean you're back. Now you've changed your whole body. So instead of this nice straight line here, okay, that the human body is, okay, you now have a line like this. So your foot comes down and then goes down to 45 degrees. So that's what starts to happen. This, now the foot's out here, so you're striking the ground different than you were before. Then this gets extremely tight. There's your ankle. It's getting extremely tight. Here's where your ankle is. It should be straight down. The signals are sent and you're fine. But it's not because of that tightness. All right. And so when you go to do stuff, this tightness now leads you to have to, that's your adhesion. It has to find a way around it. And then the fire goes off, the signal goes, but it's delayed. You're having issues. Okay. So maybe your ankle's okay. You get through and you feel all right. But then it also starts to affect the knee because now the knee is being compromised because now it has to change what it does. Has to maybe find more mobility. If the ankle's not mobile enough, you got to find mobility somewhere. The body needs to find it. So it tries to go to the knee. Well, the knee is not a mobile joint, so it's going to have some issues. Or it might even go all the way up here to the hip. Here's the hip. Might even go up to the hip and cause problems. Or even better, it goes over to the other side of the body because now you're compensating over there because this isn't firing correctly. So now you're putting more weight over here. So when injuries occur, you have to take it another level. And that's what I ask all my athletes. I said, "Do you brush your teeth every day?" They all say yes. Then why aren't you doing the exercise you need to make sure that you don't have issues, that you get back to better than you were before? And they all look at me, well, I can run, I can do that, but you're not running correctly. So I had a lady who came in and she complained of low back pain. I watched how she walked. So did you ever hurt your ankles? She said, yeah, I hurt my ankles probably 20 or 30 years ago. Went to check her ankles. She has no mobility in the ankle. Her ankle that she hurt, she has zero mobility. So when she strikes the ground, she strikes incorrectly, which then causes pain driving up into her back because it's not landing properly. She's trying to find mobility. The body naturally is trying to find to do that. Plus also all the compensation that took on now caused her back pain. But you can almost trace it back here to the ankle. Once we started working the ankle, getting that more mobile, getting it what it needed to do, guess what started happening? the low back pain start to dissipate and start to leave. Yeah, she's been dealing with this for a while now. Nobody can be able to figure out what's wrong. It's because the human body has to function a certain way. And I don't care what all the medical people say. Okay, I really don't. I've seen this too long. It says 20 some years of me observing it. That is what science should be. I'm observing it. I'm constantly trying to understand how the human body is. And when we break it, it has to compensate and it has to form adhesions. That's just natural. Okay, they all will admit that. But nobody admits that just because you feel okay getting back to what you would consider normal activity does not mean the body's feeling okay. If it's still not right, then it's going to have issues later on. It might not have it right then. You might be able to get through your sports career, have no other issues. And then all of a sudden, you're in your 30s or 40s and you're having issues of other things. And we'll blame it on this, we'll blame it on that. We'll get a shot, we'll get surgery. Sometimes you just got to go back to the beginning and figuring where things are. I know it's difficult, trust me, to say, hey, did you ever hurt your ankle? It's tough for people in their 50s and 60s to remember. Now, some people who maybe have in their 30s or something or had a traumatic injury, a little bit easier. But I'm telling you, you have to start working on these areas. Remember, the ground is one of the greatest things for us, all right? It's a charger. I say discharge and charge the body. It sends those signals through the fascia to understand how the body works as one. If there's adhesions or there's roadblocks in the way, what I call roadblocks, the body has to compensate and figure out ways around it. It's just natural. It needs to get you from point A to point B or whatever the movement is. Doesn't mean it's correct. So I want you to stay focused on this because if you've had an injury and you're not back to where you should be, all right, you think you feel okay, but you're not having the mobility, I'm telling you, you're opening yourself up to major problems later on. And like I said, I don't know how many doctors talk about this. I don't know how many therapists talk about this. I don't know how many trainers talk about this, but I'm telling you, this is through observations of 20 years of me understanding the body, trying to keep people away from surgeries, away from drugs, away from shots, trying to understand this thing of how we can do a better job of taking care of this thing that God gave us, and that is the human body. It was made perfect. We break it. Okay? We break it. Not God. We break it somewhere along the line because of what we do. Now, he gave us the ability to heal. That's the phenomenal thing. The Lord always has different ways. He knows we're going to be not intelligent enough. Okay. So he gave us a way to heal. The problem is you have to guide it in the right direction. You have to own some of this. You have to, it's on you to start to fix this the right way. And if you're having issues, then you got to reach out to me. We need to set up a consult, an assessment to see what's going on. Okay. Because this is key to your success. So yes, injuries lead to other injuries if not taken care of the proper way. And I'm telling you, putting people in boots and braces when they really don't need them, problem. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, I need a boot to walk around. I can't walk on my leg because my ankle hurts. Great. And that's telling you something. Learn how to get it back correctly. And trust me, I've had people come in with ankle injuries. We're told to be in boots for 6 weeks. Walk 2 days later. Fine. Am I saying that's with everybody? No. But the majority of people that I have gotten back extremely quick because we figured out how the body should move. And yes, there is a correct way. Unlike most strength coaches, they will argue this all day long. They don't think there is a way. They think turning your foot out is fine. All that kind of stuff is showing that there's a different movement pattern, and that movement pattern is broken. If you look at babies, you look at young kids, and I have tons and thousands of pictures. Most young kids, and I'm talking about the majority, if not all, stand with their feet straight. They walk with their feet straight. But somewhere along the line, they start to turn out. And strength coaches don't see that as a problem. That's interesting. Really interesting. Maybe we need to start talking. Maybe that's another discussion. But getting back to the injuries here, you got to make sure you treat them correctly. You got to make sure you stay on them. Okay. Just because you feel good to go back doesn't mean you're back. I have a routine that I do every day, 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to make sure my back and hip pain never come back. Never. And for 6 years, it's worked. I spend 5 to 10 minutes every day, at least 6 days a week, if not 7 every time. And I don't have any of that back pain anymore because I got into a routine where I shortened it up, hit it hard, and I'm done. Yes, at the beginning, did it take longer? No question about it. When I was injured and banged up, it took me a lot longer to get out of it. But then eventually, once I got into it, I have 5 to 10 minute routine I do every day. And it hits my whole body, but it really specifically targets that area. And I haven't had any pain. or any problems. Amazing. Amazing. But I stay on it all the time. You can't neglect the body. You wouldn't neglect your teeth 99.9% of you, then why are you neglecting the body? Just because you feel okay doesn't mean it's right. When you bust it and break it, compensation patterns have to form, other things have to come into play, and then you have all kind of issues going on. So reach out, questions, concerns, comments, what you want to do. Like this, all right? Spread it out to other people. Send this out to people who have been hurt. Have them reach out to me. I'm telling you, it is a key. It is a key to our success of how we're going to get back and feel better and stay healthy longer. This is Coach Bricks, guys. Have yourself a blessed day, and God bless you.